What's up guys, it's Red back once again, and today we are talking about something that has been on my mind for a while now, character diversity. Now I realize right off the bat that this might be a non-issue to a lot of you, so if that's the case, no worries. But for me, I enjoy diversity from series to series, as well as from characters within the same series. Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to be a huge roster, there's pretty much no denying that. But did you know that these three series, Mario, Pokemon, and Fire Emblem, make up 34% of the entire Smash Ultimate roster? Literally 1/3 of the roster. Now I know what you're probably saying. Mario and Pokemon are the flagships of Nintendo. If any series deserves to boast that many characters, it would be those two. Sure, I can agree with that, even if I think those series are already well represented. I can understand the angle. But what about Fire Emblem? You may be asking, how does a series with only just over 12 million sales get to have 7 characters, the third most by series? Well friend, I couldn't tell you. Normally I would have told you it's because they have a giant universe full of characters with crazy unique abilities that could all make for vastly different and unique characters, but clearly that's not the case with Fire Emblem. Wait, what's that? That is the case for Fire Emblem? So why the heck are 5 of the characters just competing to see who can swing their sword at a different angle? What the Now we here at the Fire Emblem committee take offense to that last statement about diversity and would like to point out that Roy's sword is actually on fire. That's right, a flaming sword. Smashing! But I don't expect the Fire Emblem characters to stop anytime soon. Why is that? Well, because of Fire Emblem Heroes. That's right, we've gone full circle back to gacha. Gotcha! No, I've already made that joke last time. We can't reuse it already. But yes, the gacha craze has already made its way to Fire Emblem to the tune of $400 million spent by players in less than a year and a half. And keep in mind, this has all happened since Ultimate's base roster was confirmed, and this is partly why I think a Fire Emblem Three Houses character is all but guaranteed for DLC. Heroes is massive at this point with no signs of slowing down, so just prepare to bow down to your gacha overlords. My stance on Fire Emblem will remain the same for now. It has enough reps. More than enough. Sadly for me and maybe us, Nintendo and Sakurai mismanaged the diversity of the reps they chose. So Nintendo, if you're going to feed us more Fire Emblem characters, please for the love of Arceus, utilize some of the unique characters that exist in that universe and not just hand us another sword.jpg user. Thank you. So who's gotten snubbed? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. The Legend of Zelda is the 4th most selling Nintendo franchise. They haven't had a new rep since Brawl, and 3 of their characters are literally the same guy. Now I love Link, but do we really need 3 versions of him? Especially when 2 of them are going to be really similar. Again, this is not a case where they don't have any unique characters to fill out these slots. There's Skull Kid, Midna, or even a Midna and Wolf combination character. There's Skull Kid, Impa, Skull Kid, Tetra, and many more. Oh, and Skull Kid. Donkey Kong just got another rep in K. Rool, but they still only have 3, and the franchise places right after Zelda as the 5th most selling franchise for Nintendo, yet they only have 3 reps? NANI? Dixie, Lanky, what about Cranky? Nintendo's treating DK way too janky. This series without a doubt deserves at least another rep, but will most likely be overshadowed. And speaking of 3 reps, it's the literal protagonist himself of the World of Light. That's right, that pink gumball thing with the eyes and the stomach. We're talking about Kirby, you get it. Sakurai's brainchild. A series that while isn't on the same levels of DK or Zelda, it still ranks in the top 10 selling franchises for Nintendo, coming in at number 8. This series hasn't gotten a new rep since Brawl either, and seems to have missed out once again with Ultimate just like Zelda has. And again, another series with unique and cool reps to choose from. Even though I'm partial to Bandana D myself, there's also Magolor, Marks, or Adelaine who you could justify a spot for as well. Now, I'm not out here preaching that every series should be equal, because that probably shouldn't be the case. And I think a lot of series are represented really well. The Game & Watch series is actually in the top 10 best-selling franchises as well for Nintendo, but Sakurai and team encapsulated so much of that series into Mr. Game & Watch himself that it truly feels like a fabulous representation for a retro rep that isn't getting any new games anytime soon. Yoshi, while being a fantastic selling series, just doesn't have that many unique characters to pull from for a Smash roster slot. Ice Climbers represent their series greatly as well. So not every series in Smash Bros needs to have 3+ characters, but it's clear to see that there's a discrepancy for some of these series that really shouldn't be there, at least in my eyes. Now, it's important to remember that sales, of course, shouldn't be the only factor taken into consideration when choosing how to diversify the roster. There are other metrics that can be used: number of games in the series, legacy, importance to Nintendo and/or gaming in general, fan popularity or feedback. But whatever the case, I hope when Nintendo is choosing the DLC, they at least have diversity in their minds. While it is important to give a nod to certain series, Smash is a game that only comes around once every 5 years or so. Zelda and Kirby are two incredibly popular Nintendo franchises, and their fans have been waiting for a newcomer now for 10 years. And a lot can happen in 10 years. Hey Dad, did either of us get a sequel yet? No, not yet, son. Well, okay. I wish he would stop asking me that. Well, you get the point. For the record, I don't hate Fire Emblem or Pokemon. Fire Emblem looks like a really cool series that fits my aesthetic. I've just never gotten to play that many of the games, and Pokemon is in my top 5 franchises of all time. But even beyond series diversity, another problem that bothers me is gender diversity. Have a look at this graph. I've kept the Pokemon in as both male or female because they can be either. Same for the Mii Fighters. Ice Climbers offers both a boy and girl aspect with their tag team component. Inkling and some of the Fire Emblem characters, as we know, have the option of being either. And then I have a few characters in the question mark or no gender category. I'm not really too sure on Yoshi. From what I've found, it seems to be sketchy either way. And last time I said Dark Samus was a female, people raged at me in the comments. And Mewtwo, according to game lore, should be considered genderless. And Rob, well, it's a freaking robot, so I'm not really sure what to put Rob as, honestly. So I'm sure if there's anything wrong with this list, people will correct me in the comments. But enough semantics. You can see here there are twice as many dudes than there are ladies, and that just shouldn't be so. Again, I'm not out here preaching that we need to have exact equality in terms of the gender split, but Nintendo certainly has enough female characters to bolster the roster even further in that regard. Crystal from Star Fox, like we said earlier, Impa and Midna, there's Dixie, Verity, Adelaine, Pyra and Mithra, so on and so forth. You guys get the point. There's a lot more options out there that they have to choose from. And surprisingly enough, the third-party character ratio is even more lopsided with 9 guys to the lone woman, Bayonetta. Not sure exactly what's going on with that in particular, as there's some iconic female third-party characters out there. Either way, the point stands that it would be nice to get some more lady representation. I'm not sure there's even an excuse for it at this point. Hopefully the DLC will at least address this somewhat, as there are still tons of options out there. Now at the end of the day, this stuff doesn't really affect my Smash enjoyment to a critical level. And Smash is already a massive crossover in terms of franchises and series, and it's hard to grasp the magnitude of that sometimes. You can play as Cloud Strife and Snake in the same video game. We have characters from all types of generations, dating all the way back to the 80s, and as recent as the past few years. The roster certainly succeeds in hitting a lot of checkmark boxes. These thoughts are just the little things that I would like to see some extra thought going into by Sakurai and team and by Nintendo. Sometimes the little things can make a huge difference though, especially for new players coming to the game. That little extra bit of diversity may spark the curiosity of many yet to be fans. But these are just my opinions. Let me know what you guys thought about all this in the comments below. What are your thoughts on diversity? My Discord link is in the description below if you'd like to join. Some of my other videos should be on the screen right now if you want to check those out. Don't forget to subscribe with notifications on for more future content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.